What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Elevated Perspectives Podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and on today's episode, I'll be sitting down with Mr. Rasheed Dennis, otherwise known as International Swagger on Instagram. He is a DJ, a vibe curator, and a serial entrepreneur here in Playa del Carmen. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about why he chooses to call Playa del Carmen home, his travel journey over the past 15 years, and also some of the exciting upcoming adventures that he has planned for you. So stay tuned. Sitting in Playa del Carmen with my boy Rasheed Dennis.
What's good? What's good? How you guys doing today?
Man, how you feeling?
Man, I'm lovely, man. Just, another day in paradise. It's hot out here. It's August.
And it is paradise. Like, we're at his crib right now, and the view, the building, I mean, it's paradise. It's paradise, to say the least, man. So I actually connected with Rasheed, I think it was my first week here.
Okay.
We had landed, and China Box, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but the food truck was right up the street from where we were staying.
Okay.
And ran into you, and then ran into you again at the beach. And then after hearing a little bit about your story, I'm like, okay, following each other on socials. And so I'm like, I had to interview this brother, just get to know him a little bit more. And I think that you can impact a lot of lives just by talking about your story, where you're at now, man. And yeah, so we'll get into it. For those of y'all who don't know Mr. International Swagger on Instagram, he hails from Los Angeles, California, and he's been a resident here in Playa del Carmen since 2013. You are a DJ curating events, creating beautiful social events and experiences, infusing food and music and culture here in Playa and worldwide too, yeah. Right? Like, so you've been traveling the past 20 years?
Yeah, man. My first trip, like most Black Americans, I think, is Jamaica. That was my first trip. That was like 2003 or whatever. And, from there, it just kind of, piqued my interest. I was always interested in traveling. Ever since I was a kid, I used to love Brazilian music, film, and things of that nature. And so, but it wasn't until, I was able to graduate, get my own money to where I was able to, put that in and to be able to just make it happen. So my first place I lived out the country was Brazil. I lived in Rio.
Yeah, Rio. I know we talked a lot about Rio. I mean, I love Rio. I
Rio's
love
amazing.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio's amazing.
And so you talked about after college is when you really got to start. You went to Clark Atlanta, right?
Yeah, Clark Atlanta University. Find a way to make one.
Yep, ATL. Kappa Alpha. So
Kappa Alpha Psi.
was being in Clark Atlanta, like, how did that inspire travel? Like, did you know after you graduated you wanted to move abroad, or did you take a semester abroad? Like,
man, you know what? I didn't take any semester abroad. Like, pretty much, when I was in college, I was just focused on graduating,
of course.
Doing social activities and that nature. I was totally focused on that. But, in the back of my head, I always wanted to travel, So pretty much the year after, I just started kind of making it a priority for me, right? So, I would take, have group trips. I would go to Colombia, Dominican Republic. This was like 2004 and 2005.
Yeah.
And actually just go meet people.
Yeah.
Like, meet people, really not staying on any all-inclusive resorts.
Just
meet people
traveling.
online, like, and just get out in the streets.
That's dope.
And just make it happen.
So how were y'all meeting people back then? Was it like through Yeah, that was Facebook days, early Facebook days.
This was like, we was using like High Five, Amigos, like these are like sites that ain't even happening no more. But then, you would do that, but then also I would just go out,
you see people at the bar and
meet people, be out on the beach, and just kind of socially traveling, and also, like, I used to use couch surfing. This website.
Got you.
So this was like a site where you can kind of peer-to-peer meet people.
Yeah. And
so I always like to know people wherever I'm going.
Right. So that you land and you kind of have that instant connection. You already plugged in. Like, so it was trips to like Jamaica. I know you said you lived in Rio first.
Yes. Yeah.
How long were you there? Because that was your first big move abroad, right?
Yeah, that was my first move abroad, and it kind of living in Rio kind of came about just from opportunity, just from knowing people. Once I saw an opportunity to do business in Rio de Janeiro, and so this was like 2011, 2012, 2013 when Brazil was at the height of its economic powers at that particular time. They had people, everybody was able to afford a lot of things. So I saw a need as far as like GNC supplement style kind of business.
Right, you were telling me, yeah.
Exactly. So
So they're super healthy out there. Like
they love working out. You going in Brazil, you on the
take their
beach.
health very seriously.
Yeah, they take it very seriously.
Yeah.
So and they're willing to spend on it.
Got you.
And so I was able to link up with about 8 different stores across Brazil: Rio, Sao Paulo, Brasilia, which is the capital, and just meeting other store owners who needed a direct supply of supplements from the States to be able to
see that's where I'm just like, that's the shocking part, because like, how are you not caught up like after college in like that corporate life, you know what I mean? So you were just like, I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Were you still doing like the corporate, 9 to 5
I was.
I
was still working. I worked for the federal government my first 10 years when I first graduated.
Okay.
And so, but from there, when I was living in Atlanta, the first 2 years, in Atlanta, I was like, okay, this is cool. But I was like, man, I wanted something more. Going out, the clubs, it was popping. It was a great time. Yeah. This is when Visions was open. This is 2002 to 2004. I was loving it, but I always knew that there was more. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm living in Atlanta. Atlanta is Hartsfield Jackson International Airport is there. Mm-hmm. I can go anywhere from Atlanta.
Yeah,
I can go direct anywhere. So at the particular time, I just started going trips on the weekend. I would go to Colombia. I would look up deals, be able to I would work a 4-10 schedule. So I would be off on Friday. And then so I would leave on Thursday. My office was downtown Atlanta. Yeah. I used to take the MARTA right with my bag, with my little weekend bag, and literally come back Monday morning, like, the flight from Brazil leaves at night. Yeah. I get in the morning, but I wouldn't tell nobody because, people were just jealous.
They were. That's
it was a different time. Like, people were, I couldn't tell.
It's still like that.
It's still like that. And I would, if they were asked, like, oh, what'd you do this weekend, Rasheed? I'm like, man, did you catch the Falcons game? I would play the role, like, I'm just gonna go along but I'm not gonna let you guys know.
Yeah. Really how is he in Colombia how much are we paying him again? Is he working? Yeah, they still do the same thing, especially working remotely. It's like,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, where are you at now? You know what I mean? So a lot of companies they want you to be in the US or in the state, sometimes in the city, come in once or twice a week.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's dope. So on Thursday you'd pack a bag.
I would be out every week. And my girlfriend was in Miami.
Okay.
And so I would go there, go to Miami, go to New York, see my brother. I couldn't stay still. After 2 years of graduating, I was like, okay, I had enough. Atlanta, it kind of run its course a little bit.
So you were ready to get out.
I was ready. It was cool to, get money. I was doing real estate as well on the side, so I could do that. But on the weekends, I just had this wanderlust. I had to get out. The world is a bigger place than what was in that back. Even Atlanta. I loved Atlanta. I love Atlanta, but. Me too. The world is too big. Like, I had to go out and see it and do it. And a lot of some of those websites where I was using couch surfing, that enabled me. That was kind of my outreach to the world. Because I would host people too, like be able to come through.
Right.
And it just kept going. And I ended up meeting so many people, so many connections, and that really got me to where I am today. Like.
So that's really like I feel like once you kind of narrow down your process when it comes to traveling, that's really when it gets exciting because, in today's world, it's like, okay, there's Airbnb, there's Vrbo, but if you could tap into like, different rental sites, groups, and just who because oftentimes it's like, okay, if I want to rent somewhere in Rio, you kind of got to know somebody, down there on the ground because they're going to try to tax you on the internet. If you're a foreigner, so
right.
So that's dope, man. So like, where was the most? I know you went to Colombia out of like the Americas. What was kind of like? Would you say it was Rio? Was your favorite?
Oh, I mean, Brazil is my number one country. Like Brazil. Yeah. I mean, in the Americas, it's Brazil, Mexico, of course.
Yeah.
And Cuba. Those are my top 3. Period.
Cuba, really?
Cuba, I love Cuba too. I love Trinidad too. I mean, I love Jamaica too. I mean, it kind of depends on what you want.
Because if you want a little more city than the Caribbean offers, then you gotta.
Yeah, you can't be in the Caribbean,
right?
Like, I mean, you could be in Santo Domingo.
Yeah,
Santo Domingo has kind of a city vibe. Dominican Republic, but Rio has it all. The music, the culture, the people. It has that feeling.
So Rio, you lived there long term, right? So you left the States Did you leave the 9 to 5 behind, or did you?
Yeah, I left them. Yeah.
Okay.
9 to 5, took a buyout. I was able at this particular time. I had my real estate going in Atlanta.
Yeah.
To where I was able to sustain myself. Because I mean, a lot of times when I was coming in for those trips, I would sit in my office and I would just be like, what am I doing here? What, like, this is not me.
Right.
At all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making good money. It enabled me to get to where I was able, be able to establish myself. But I couldn't see myself being there with those people. Like, these people, like, this is like all they knew, all their whole life. And like, one of the main turning points for me, man, real talk, was when I was in Hawaii. I was with my girlfriend at the time. This had to be in like 2007. My dad and my mom, they was on a cruise to Hawaii. And I remember seeing them get off the cruise, and they rolled off, like, this was in Maui, and they rolled off, like, the cruise thing opened up.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole bunch of just senior citizens getting off, wheelchairs. And I was like, you know what? I ain't waiting. I am not going to wait till I'm 68, retired.
And you got to have a chaperone, somebody pushing you along.
Exactly. And then 5 years later, who knows? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people, when they were retired from their jobs, they dead. Yeah. Honestly. So like, so I was like, I wasn't going to wait. I told myself then, I was like, man, I'm on the right path because I don't want to wait to enjoy life.
Man, that's dope. And once you realize that, going back to the cubicle in your office and really seeing, for me, it was like, okay, what am I paying for back here in Atlanta? Because it has gotten so expensive to try to travel as much as you want to, but also try to maintain a lifestyle at home. Yes. So what you did was smart, with real estate going too. So able to sustain yourself. In the beginning, so how was Rio? Like, what challenges did you face? I know it was sunshine and beaches and pretty women and, like, you know what I mean, parties and stuff like that. But Portuguese, like,
Portuguese is a beast.
It is a beast.
But it sounds so good though. It sounds so good. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, when you're in school learning languages, man, that's not it. You can do it, but it's when you're in the mix and doing it, and when you're with the people, you're singing, you're dancing, you're interacting, that makes you want to learn a language. Yeah, it comes naturally, and like through music too. I want to understand lyrics. That's been really big on my mind lately. So I'm like, on Spotify, it has, the lyrics will pop up, and you can hit translate if you want to know what it says. So that's been working for me. But you want to be ingrained in the culture, you know, so that you can actually meet people and not have surface level conversations, but actually be able to respond back, ask them questions, get to know them on a deeper level. Plus, if you're dating, you know what I mean? Like, you need that. I mean, shoot, I was dating this one young lady in Sao Paulo. Yeah. She didn't know no English and my Portuguese, but my Portuguese was getting so much better because I was with her the whole time. I was going to weddings with her, social events, in Sao Paulo. Like, man, it was a vibe, but I was also glad I was, to be able to experience that now. Looking back at it, like, we're still friends, to this day. Yeah. And it was beautiful, you know what I mean, to be able to experience that, and she got a chance to see how our brother from the States is, you know what I'm saying? She ain't never gonna forget it. I ain't never gonna forget her either. Man, that's dope. So we're friends. I know friends wanted to come down and visit you. Is that kind of how? Tell me how, like, the DJ, bring people together started, because I know. From what I'm assuming, I know for me, it's just like, hey, I'm having a great time. I want y'all to come in, have a great time, but I also want to connect with the locals. So you're trying to pull everybody in. Yeah. So man. I mean, here in Playa, I've lived here since 2013. But mostly before, I was kind of more doing real estate back home. I wasn't really creating anything here in 2013. We would bring people here for trips, but nothing like on a regular basis. Gotcha. So that kind of all changed during COVID, pretty much. Right. Yeah. So this was like November. I would say this was like November 2020, and a lot of people, they know me here from bring people together. I would have Thanksgiving events at my house. Like, back then, it was a small black local like expat kind of vibe. It wasn't like it is now, right? Like, we would kind of get together. I had a Juneteenth event in 2020 this was like the first time where people started really kind of being outside. It was a hard lockdown.
Yeah.
From March 2020 to June, and then that particular June, I was like, yo, let's bring everybody out. Let's get people out. We did a Juneteenth dinner party.
Right.
At Trujillo. So we had like 60 expats, whatever, black expats came out, and it was cool. You know what I mean? It was nice. It was a chance for people kind of like to come together a little bit out.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was nice. It was a beautiful event, and so from there we started doing some more game nights, and that's how so Juke Joint started in November 2020.
Got you.
Because at first we were like, I want to do something with games, like just a game night, simple, put on some hip hop R&B, and just chill and vibe. And so it started like that, and then eventually, as more people started coming, they were like, okay, we need to do it every week, and having a lot of different talent and DJs were coming in, escaping COVID in the States, and they see that, okay, this is a place where people are actually celebrating and living life.
Right. Because I know that flip switches from like, hey, I just want to go out to Cancun, Cancun's little brother Playa, to hang out because it's open right now, versus like people are living here. Yeah. I don't know when I heard about Playa del Carmen. It was probably just before the pandemic, 2019. Okay. But I know you and I were just talking about like people wanted to move here just because they see that's where black people live. Right. And sometimes I'll be in Tulum and I'm like, wow, they just brought Atlanta to Tulum. Like, how does that, because I know it went from such a small group, from hosting Thanksgivings to like, this is a city now where people flooded. They flooded the gates.
I'm seeing that.
Even after the past year, bro, I haven't been here in like over a year. So I'm like, wow, like it is doubled in growth, when I'm seeing black people just out and about. So how has that vibe affected, the scene, the nightlife, all that?
Yeah, it's been beautiful because, before I started, doing weekly events, with Juke Joint, on Wednesdays, Vibes Only on Fridays, and She's Groove on Sundays, there was no music. That's why I started it, because there was no music that I really like to enjoy. Yeah. That's the only reason why I started it. Like I would literally sit back and be like, this ain't it.
Yeah, I know in Guadalajara when I was living there, it's like you go out and it's like do exactly all night, every single bar, every single club.
Yeah. And Playa, Playa, I originally came to Playa, I started really I love house music. I like all kind of music, right? Nice. So I came originally for a house music festival in 2012.
Really? Okay.
And so I came for that, and that's what kind of really put Playa on the map for me.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the music vibe then. But I wanted to bring a different vibration, and that's what we end up doing with international swagger and all that. So
I know you have Sundays. Shade Groove,
yeah,
right?
She's Groove.
And She's Groove, and that's the day party.
Yeah, day party. We do that at day, and we do that at night as well. So it kind of just depends on the vibration. We're doing, we do that mostly at night. Vibes Only, we're doing that Friday night. That's going to be at Musa. It's a very nice on 8th Street, a beautiful beach bar.
Man, when does that start? Because I'm ready.
That's going to start this Friday.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we're going to start that back. And then, of course, Juke Joint, we do that at Quinta de Piedra every first and third Wednesday. I can't be doing it every week. Y'all be tiring me out.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
I couldn't. Every week.
Every week is a lot, So I had to kind of peel back and just provide it, but not all. I got to make people miss it a little bit too. It's important.
I had seen a Travel Noir. I don't know if it was that one or it was like an Airbnb travel article.
The who's who in black travel.
And I know it talked about one of the groups that I think you were a part of, or
yes,
were you?
Yes.
Okay,
Up in the Air Life.
Up in the Air Lives. Is that still going, or?
Yeah, up in the Air Life. Yeah, still the company. I no longer work with Up in the Air Life, but it's like one of my good friends, one of my big friends in business, Claire Suarez. We actually through Up in the Air Life. Yeah, we did the first trips with Up in the Air Life were here in Playa del Carmen. So we brought about 60, 70 people here for the Mikasa Music Festival, which is the festival that was in 2013, and we did that for about 3 years.
So what goes into planning such a big trip? Because people are flying in from different cities in the States. They got, they want to stay in their own, whatever preference. Like, how did y'all go about organizing that, and how do you like to go about, I should say,
Man, so a lot of that is just relationships.
Okay.
It's here. So we have great relationships with all the living here. I've been able to establish relationships with the hotels, the vendors, everything to make this is Riviera Maya is a tourist infrastructure for the most part. That's where the money is as far as it brings. So they're gonna be able to accommodate. They accommodated us and laid everything out. But of course, you have to have the customer service aspect of it too, and that's where I come in and the branding part of it to make it look good.
Gotcha.
Right. So we would have those trips. I also we would work with a couple of lifestyle brands in the United States where they want to bring their particular their event or their party, and we create it here.
So it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people involved, but it's all relationships.
Yeah.
Because, that's one thing, like, I think it's interesting about Playa because it's not just an expat hub. It's always been a tourist destination. And all of, like, the economy is wrapped up in that tourism. So it's dope to see people coming here to move, but then they're also starting their own thing, like like yourself. So it's like you are a part of the tourism in Playa, essentially.
Yeah.
So like a staple, which is good. I'm not saying like it's not, because that's what functions. Being from my family being from the Caribbean, like I think Grenada and like a lot of smaller islands are just now getting on the map.
Yeah, they are.
With that high, I guess, the higher quality like tourism. So getting people to hear about it and find out about it. So
exactly.
With the infrastructure changes, like I guess what do you miss about the old Playa? What do you love about the new Playa?
Man, that's a good question. That's a real good question, man. I would probably have to say like the old Playa, like pre-COVID Playa. I would say let's say pre-COVID Playa. It was just more. It was more low key. It wasn't as Americanized.
Really?
Nah.
Okay.
It wasn't as Americanized. It wasn't as many Americans. It was always been Canadians. But man, when I first came here, people were scared. They didn't they thought I was crazy for moving here. People thought they was like,
I remember
you
we were
go with the
talking about
cartel. That. You work for the cartel. You gonna get your head cut off. What's going on, Rasheed? Why are you? But now, like after after COVID, people started coming, and now people are not as scared anymore, which is beautiful. So I think that's what it is. Like now, it's not people aren't as scared to come. People I still get to like, is it safe?
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
It's been about 3 years. Everybody's on Instagram talking about it. And it's safe. You just have to know how to move.
That's interesting. Because it goes in waves. I remember Rio. I think Rio still has a bad rep.
Yeah.
As far as crime and safety, but it's not as bad as it was in like 2019, 2018. People were like, do not go.
Yeah.
Same with Mexico, like you said. Back in the day, people are just like...
Yeah, but you gotta... like, I've always thought with the mentality, like, man, you can't... Don't let the media dictate what you're gonna do. Don't let anybody dictate what you... Because if you're gonna be listening to what they say, you're gonna sit at home and you ain't never gonna get your passport. And you ain't never gonna do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to... You just gotta go.
You do. You have to discover it because you'll be shocked. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be shocked when you get to places like Colombia, and it's like everyone is just trying to help you. Even as a family, I'm down in Colombia, and it's like people aren't rude or stopping because, you're inconvenient with your stroller and this and that. Like, everyone was genuinely just helping more so than in the States.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that's another part, like, probably what I miss about, I think, the old place, and you still have it, but I think people here more, they're more used to tourists now. They're more used to, they're not as an anomaly as before. You know what I mean? So you still have the Mexican people are great. You know what I'm saying? Like they're very nice. Like they're very welcoming. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as you show love, they're gonna show love. Like I found a lot back in before, especially coming from California and a lot of people in border towns. There's like they like, oh, they like it. Yeah, everybody's cool here. You just have to, just give respect, show respect, and it's all good.
Exactly. Try to learn the culture, not just come here to be a taker.
Exactly.
So that's dope, man. And I know, cause did you go from Southeast Asia to here, to Playa? Like, where were you right before this?
I was in Brazil before.
Okay.
Here, yeah. Okay. But I've been, I never lived in Southeast Asia, but I've been, Thailand, Korea, Japan, Bali. I've been there. It's been a minute. I haven't been to Asia since like 2020.
Yeah,
I miss
man.
Asia though, but
that's the dream right there, man.
Yeah.
Is I need to get over there. I haven't been on the continent, so.
You ain't been to Africa?
I've been to Morocco, and that was for like a second.
Okay.
That was for like 3 days.
Yeah,
so
Morocco. I love the motherland, man. It's a different kind of love over there.
I saw because you were you went to Egypt, you went to Ghana.
Yeah, I never been to Ghana, man.
Okay,
I've been to Egypt, Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ethiopia.
Yeah, how were you embraced as a Black American?
Man, see, I'm about to cry now. I was just looking at a picture because my brother's wife is from Sudan.
Okay.
So he got married there.
Yeah.
You know, the wedding was in Sudan. I was just looking at a picture, man, of us at the wedding. That was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my life. Trust me, man. Like, there is no, like, Sudan, nobody goes to Sudan, first of all.
Yeah.
Right? And to get to go to Sudan, you have to have, like, it's a very tough visa to get, right? You have to go through it, know somebody. Luckily, and see, this is from the connections, like, I met in Brazil. I used to, one of my homeboys, Amar, his dad is a diplomat in Sudan, but he was living in Brazil. So I met him. This was like when I was living in Brazil.
Interesting.
And so when I went to my brother's wedding in Sudan, they invited me to stay at their house.
That's dope.
He was the ambassador for Chad from Sudan. So I stayed at their house, and the wedding was magnificent, marvelous, man. Like, such a beautiful people, beautiful energy.
I'm learning a lot because I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like the visa requirements for specific countries in Africa are a lot tougher. But if you met somebody, they're like, hey, he's staying with us,
right?
Type of thing. You have that document.
And then and being in that, especially like I've been in East Africa and these regions. There's nothing like seeing. So like, say for instance, I'm driving down the street. You see a billboard with black men drinking tea.
Yeah.
Like that. Where does that happen at? Anywhere?
They never show us being, because that's associated with like peacefulness, and that's what I felt in Morocco, man. Was like everywhere we went, we had the mint tea, the Berber tea, and like it was just so much hospitality and respect, and it was also just a very spiritual place too, because of cultural, religious beliefs that are out there, but. Everyone, I don't know. I felt very at peace, very at ease. But
it's beautiful to be in a place where they give you the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like they looking at you as they're admiring you. Yeah. They're like, man, you from America? You came way out here. Like, it's respect. Wow. Like, it is like, and that's what that's like for me. Like that's what I love. I love being in Africa, man, because like they show love. Like, they like, man, you from LA, you from like it's like they seen like for real, like I'm telling you, like trust me, I talk to everybody, man, definitely. And there's like, I love Mexico, but man, if it wasn't for the distance and for things I need to handle, I would love to be over there.
Because sometimes I like Latin America too, but I think there's that point of me sometimes where I'm just like, okay, if it wasn't for the money. The U.S. dollar conversion, would y'all still embrace us the way that you do? Because black people are a big part of tourism and travel, and contribute that. But it's the way that you're embraced, right? It's like, hey, there's no expectation. I just like the fact that you're here experiencing our culture. That's what I enjoy. And I can't think of, out of my travels, I don't know. I would say Morocco, bro. That's one of the only countries that was just like respectful, like of just me being there.
You would love Kenya then. You would love Kenya and
we might be checking that out this year.
Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, of course, is the political situation there is not good anymore. Egypt, but not we've with Up in the Air Life, brought 3 big groups. We brought like the biggest groups. There we brought like 75 people there. We did the whole, started on the Nile River luxury cruise. Through the river in Egypt. Like once you go to Luxor and Aswan, some of the places in lower, Cairo, I wouldn't really recommend.
That's what I've heard. Not great things, especially from like women who are out there. I'm just like, I can skip that.
But Luxor and some of those, if you go to southern Egypt, like you know, I was wearing the full Galabea. Like they thought I was. They was like, "Oh, you Egyptian?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Egyptian."
Cause you fit the description. Brown skin, light skin, like
yeah. They thought I was out there. Either Rasheed, I'm home.
Yeah,
and I really felt at home there. Dope. I still got my Galabeas. When I came back,
kept it too.
I rock them. I was rocking them in Playa. They thought I was crazy.
You stay cool though.
Oh, they hella cool. You can just wear that and just you good. So, but yeah, man, Africa is beautiful, man. South Africa, I spent New Year's there a few times.
Yeah.
I used to date a girl in South Africa. That's why I was going out there. So it's like love takes you to these places too. When you travel,
does. It does. It's funny. I met a couple at a co-working space here. The girlfriend was from South Africa.
Okay.
The dude was from the U.S., but they were together. She couldn't get into the U.S., so they settled on Mexico.
Yeah, that's a lot
until
of
they figured it out.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, man. So yeah, you travel for love, for business opportunities. General. I know. We talked a little bit before the episode started, but about you wanted to bring Kappa Psi.
Yeah, Kappa Alpha Psi.
Kappa Alpha.
Yeah, get that right, brother. We'll have to get you in the cut over here, dog. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity
Alpha Psi Fraternity. So
that's it right here.
Hey, and we should,
that's Kappa Alpha Psi
Fraternity
Incorporated. There you go.
On both cameras.
Cancun alumni.
So the Cancun alumni, what is the purpose of starting the chapter here? Like, what's the significance? I know we talked about regionally, it's a good spot.
Absolutely.
But what do you want it to look like?
Well, man, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, we're going to be Cancun alumni chapter. So we'll be the first international chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi in Mexico. Currently, we have chapters in Canada, Toronto, South Africa, Germany, Korea, Japan. But being, this is the closest North American neighbor, so much, cultural, historical significance. And there's already about 15 or 20 brothers here, living here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be, we're going to be able to have all of our programming here, all of our guide ride, all of our events. Based here in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and also Tulum as well. So we're just going to be able to carry on tradition and be able to have fellowship and brotherhood here in Riviera Maya. So I'm really looking forward to it. We have already 40 brothers they've already financially committed. And we're going to be chartered here probably like in the next month or two.
Man, I know people are they're gonna appreciate that, man. Like the people in the fraternities, because and I'm ignorant to it. Like I'm Canadian, and I didn't go to I didn't go to HBCU. I didn't even go to U.S. college. So for me, I'm just like, so what does that mean? Are you guys? It's not associated with any school in particular. It's just
because we're gonna be we're an alumni chapter.
Okay.
Alumni chapter. So brothers who would want to become members, to have we'll be having intake as well. We'll be accepting new members.
Got you.
Who want to live, who are living here, or be able to have this is kind of like a base, right? Like, so a lot of people who move here, me included, it's become Playa del Carmen and Riviera Maya has become not only a place where you can live, but kind of a base where you can invest in, and just a place where you can always come back to. Right? It's so close. It's hour and a half from Houston. Hour and a half to Miami, 2.5 to Atlanta, 3 to New York, so it's almost like being in the U.S., but you're in Mexico.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you have the proximity and the logistics to be able to live here. Nice. You have a lot of the infrastructure.
Right.
You have, a lot of people, even though I'm not like a big Walmart, Sam's Club, a lot of people want that. So you have that. You have movie theaters. And
it's only getting bigger.
And it's only getting bigger. The investment is only getting bigger. So it was only right and factual for us to be able to. And we have so many ladies here, too. So there's people, families. And so, Kappa Alpha Psi, achievement in every field in a human endeavor. And we just want to be able to bring that same kind of energy that we have in the U.S. here to Mexico and be able to amplify it here as well. So
man, we'll put the information in the description too for this episode. This is La Fête du Rosé. Man,
it's a beautiful wine, man.
Imported from
Saint-Tropez.
Saint-Tropez.
Yeah, Saint-Tropez,
okay.
Côte de Provence, so Provence rosé. We're doing the importation here in Mexico, and so it's going to be available at all the major beach clubs, from Tulum to Cancun, and in between in Playa del Carmen. So we're looking forward to having this here. It's currently the third largest luxury brand of rosé in the United States. The tagline is "La Fête is a party and everyone's invited." So amazing taste, man. You definitely gonna, you and wife, you're gonna have to pull up and enjoy.
I need to get some of that for sure, man.
Yeah. So this is just another kind of business venture, that I've been able to do here based on, the relationships that I have.
Yeah.
We partnered with a wine distributor here in Mexico, here in Riviera Maya, and we're going to be at Thompson Hotel, Hyatt. Because they're currently, this is the, as far as the tastemakers in the U.S., it's already available at most of the top-notch places in the States. So people want to be able to come down to Mexico and enjoy the same rosé that they've been drinking on at the Hyatt and some of these other places. So we're looking forward to having this here.
Man, that's amazing, bro. I think that was one topic too that I did want to talk through, was just like your entrepreneurial endeavors, because you've had multiple businesses that you've started abroad. People struggle to start a business in the U.S.
Right, yeah.
And I know it's big. Relationships are big, but you bet on yourself. I've seen you at China Box. You have a food truck, one of the only Chinese food establishments in Playa del Carmen.
Yes.
And you all are soon to be launching a brick and mortar location.
Yes.
You are also resident, hosting events, parties.
Yeah.
The importing business, the supplement business in Brazil. So did you study business in school? What was it that was
it's just, no, I studied communications.
Okay.
So I studied PR and communications. So that particular part. But man, I've always just been a serial entrepreneur, man. If I see an opportunity, I'm just going to go for it. It doesn't matter, the relationships, my frat brother, actually, it's his brand.
Okay.
With Lafette du Rosé.
Okay.
And so about 5 years ago at Homecoming, I saw that he was launching this brand, and he's a veteran in the wine in the spirits industry already. I saw he was launching. I'm like, I bought a case, and I tasted it. I'm like, we need to bring this to Mexico.
Yeah.
It's the perfect place to enjoy rosé. Mexico, you can do it 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
So why not have my fraternity brothers rosé here in Mexico, where everything is already blowing up? Here in Tulum, in Playa del Carmen, and Cancun. That's how we giving back that way.
Yeah.
And showing the people that we can do business in a foreign country and make it happen. You know what I mean? And so that's that.
It's a value add. Tulum is a hot spot for celebrities, athletes.
Exactly.
Movie stars are coming down here.
Mm-hmm.
The alcohol, supply isn't always, what people are expecting.
Right.
When they get their drink. So that's dope, man. I think even with China Box, it's all
China Box was the same thing. It was supply and demand.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. There wasn't any good Chinese food in Playa. Zero. Like the kind that we used to growing up on. Mm-hmm. And the good thing about Playa is that you have the fruits and vegetables. You have and that's another major key of living here as well.
Yeah.
So now we can do that with the food too.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the food tasting fresh. We want it. That's how I eat. I eat to live. You know what I mean? Living in Playa del Carmen is actually probably shaved 10 years off of my life.
Bro, I was saying you look my age, bro. You've been traveling for the past 10, 20 years. So I'm that is just proof in the concept. Even me, the longer I've been here, I'm just wow, my skin is getting better.
Glowing, man.
And naturally I'm sweating, detoxifying my body. I'm walking a lot more. So
man. And that's a lifestyle that people and that's why I always try to tell people man, you come here, you don't have to take taxis and everything. Get a bike.
Yeah, honestly, walk, get a bike.
Walk, get a bike, and see because that But I think we're we as a people, we're so traumatized by living in the States and living in whatever communities that we're not used to doing that.
Yeah.
But here you can do that. It's okay. You can, and that's actually how people get around.
It's quicker.
In Tulum
especially, bro. It'll say 20 minutes to drive. 5 minutes to bike because you could go through those little cuts and
you can meet people.
And you can meet people. It is like I've met a lot of people just walking, bro.
Exactly.
You see somebody, you shout them out. You pass by things you won't notice.
Yep. See,
when you're driving.
Facts, man.
And but yeah, that's all part of that lifestyle too, man. I like to, if I am in a city that has public transit, I'm trying that as long as it's safe and reliable.
Right.
And as far as like biking, I would love to when my kids let me, but
you need to get one of those bikes with the seat on the back.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot in Brazil, bro.
They do that here too.
I haven't seen it as much here, but I'm gonna get into that too. But anyway, with the entrepreneurial endeavors, I think that is honestly the best way to sustain this travel lifestyle because you don't want to be tied to the 9 to 5. So you are looking out for those opportunities, man. Like when you got here, did you think that you were going to get into like a business venture, or did you kind of like wait it out and just connect with people authentically, and it turned into
that's basically what happened. You know, like at first when I first came here, I wasn't looking to get into business here.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I really wasn't. Like, but it just all came. It came authentically, and it came organically.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it came to. You know, you saw a need. Okay, if I'm living here, like if I'm okay, I live here. I'm a permanent resident. I got a green card. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
for
not
real.
border hopping.
No, I'm not border hopping. Visa runs.
Yeah.
And no. I live here for real. So if I'm gonna be here, and I want to be able to give back in that way and be able to leave a lasting impression on where I live. Same way I would do if I lived anywhere else.
And that's the thing, like when you are just kind of like the digital nomad trend of just being in your apartment, you're working for a U.S. company, and then you leave the house kind of in the evenings, you go shop at Walmart. You're kind of like a ghost in the city that is literally just using the city's resources. Boom, not to mention the visa runs, like I get it if you want to check out the city for a couple, even like the first year if you're not sure yet. Right. But after a year or so, man, you should be applying for residency.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, man. That's it. Yeah, it's great. Good perspective, man. Because it needs to be heard. You know, because I think a lot of people they come down here with that mentality, like and then set up shop. You know, if you're gonna be here for real, like and do that. So
because it's gonna mess it up for the people that do want to. Like it's already getting harder. I know a lot of countries are having the digital nomad visas. New visas are being rolled out, but they want to. Even on Mexico, it's been common to crack down lately. When you do come in, they want to see that return flight if you're not a resident. Because you haven't been going back and forth much, but now when you fly in, bro, they want to see. They're not giving you 6 months automatically.
Oh no? No? Okay.
Sometimes, in Mexico City, they'll give you sometimes 90 days.
Damn.
And then you'll have to have your return flight. It depends who is working, but man,
make sure to get the right one. You see,
because there are so many people overstaying visas, and it's like. Yeah, you can't be doing that.
I mean, the expatting, that's cool. But if you're gonna really stay here and I'm when I first moved here, expat, but I became a permanent resident. And it's nice when I fly into the airport and I go to the Mexico. It says the tourists or and I go to the line that says Mexicanos.
I live here.
And when I go in that line, they be. I wear a lot of times now. I wear a Mexico hat, so they respect. They like, yo, this dude, he's really I love Mexico. I love it here. Like I do. Like it's a great place to be. It's a great base. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I love I love other places all around the world. Could I live in Thailand full time? I don't think I can do it. Like I like being here because Playa del Carmen is in this whole Riviera Maya. It's so accessible. And it's very international. You know what I mean? Like there's people coming in from everywhere, and for me, that gets me I'm an international swagger. Like it's not a vacation, it's a lifestyle. And I embody that. And I love to surround myself around those kind of energies. You know what I'm saying? That keeps me firing.
That's the thing, bro.
Everything.
Like I lived in a more local city last year, but it's not the same when people aren't flying in. When you don't see your people come in and it's like, what am I kind of you are just like the outsider forever kind of thing.
Damn,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and that's how it was for me. And when I got to Rio, I was like, I love this because Colombia was kind of the same, but I loved it.
As far as like international people?
Yeah, people were coming into Colombia, but it was more so, it felt more like the partying. Like was the most, the prominent reason why they're coming.
Yeah.
And like you get on a plane to Medellin or Bogota now, and it's just like 80% dudes on the plane.
Yeah,
it's like that's the only reason they're coming down.
I remember, man, because it's crazy because like I had been going to Colombia I started going to Colombia maybe 2004.
Yeah.
2004, 5, 6, 7, and it was nobody was going there. People thought it was there like. Why are you going to Colombia? Like, and then even in the airports, like you wouldn't. I flew to Medellin. I had a homeboy out there. This was like 2008. There was no bachelor parties and all that. Like people coming, like a whole bunch of Americans. Yeah. But then I went. My boy, one of my frat brothers, got married. He was having his bachelor party there.
Yeah.
Not getting married. That was his bachelor party in 2017. And that was my first time going to Medellin in like 9 years. And I was on a plane. I was like, wow, this is totally different. It's a whole bunch of American dudes getting ready to tear it up in Medellin. Yeah. I'm like, it don't seem the same now. You know what I mean? It's kind of.
I was there earlier. Was that this year? Yeah, I was there at the beginning of this year, and we left from Florida, and like the flight was literally it was dudes. It was sugar babies with the older dudes, like literally. I guess going back to Colombia, and I was like, whoa, like this is really. It's kind of like ingrained now in their tourism. So I think it's, once things blow up on social media, and it's funny because this is a social media platform, but once things blow up, it's like people will go in drones. I don't know if you've seen recently the dude, he was like a Twitch star or whatever in New York City. He was giving away a PlayStation. He incited a riot in New York.
Really?
Like, bro, millions of people, I think, or thousands of people, I think, showed up, and they just didn't have the structure for it. So social media is powerful, man, and I think a lot of people are going to, experience the party aspect of Colombia,
right?
Which to each his own. So
no doubt. You gotta. That's what you do.
Man, I lost what I was thinking right before that.
But yeah, I mean, even like, I've always enjoyed going off the beaten path. You know what I mean? And like even Playa del Carmen, at the time when I moved here, it was off the beaten path. Like people were like Playa, like nobody knew what Playa was. Like, but I was on some just discovery shit. I just went and I was like, okay, this is a cool spot. Before Playa was like a little more of a party town. It was more of backpacker. Hostile kind of crowd back then, 2013, house music, boom, boom. It wasn't, people weren't coming here to be digital nomads. Those people, because the internet wasn't really good.
Yeah.
People would be in Asia at this time. So when COVID hit, all those people from Asia was like, I'm going to Mexico. Because it was like, it was close enough. And so it totally changed. And social media totally changed the perception of people from Mexico too.
And I think that's
for the good,
Yeah, I think like for the fact that people have deemed this area dangerous for so long is crazy.
It's crazy.
Because you get here and it's like, whoa, like no one's messing with you. You're walking the streets late at night, you know what I mean? Like, and I think I don't even see white people getting messed with. Like Mexicans in this area, I feel like are super friendly. Like maybe other border towns, other cities, it's a whole different story.
Exactly.
But,
and see, the thing is the border town thing, right? So a lot of times, most people's interaction with Mexico, especially in California, is through border towns. So a lot of my homies from Cali, they had these crazy things happen to them in Tijuana or these places, but you can't. Border towns are not. That's not real. I'm not gonna say real Mexico, but that's not indicative of what Mexico really is.
Not at all.
You can't say Matamoros and Tijuana, even though Tijuana is getting nicer now.
It is. I've heard they're building like skyscrapers in Tijuana, high-rise condos. So.
But like interior Mexico, you go to Mexico City, it's gorgeous. It's a world city. They got pyramids, amazing nightlife. People, like Mexico City is a whole vibe within itself. The museums, everything, the culture. It's like a beautiful city.
I love Mexico City.
Yeah, but how they show Mexico City on TV is, people getting kidnapped. All the media depictions mostly have been over the years have been of that. So
I think the perspective is shifting, but then an event will happen and people want to blame. It's a huge country. New Mexico is a huge country, so cartel shit they're out here. You know what I mean? But like they're not looking for tourists to kidnap and sell you on the black market. You know what I mean? Like they are. It's organized crime, just like in the States they have organized crime. So I think people got to come out and just experience it. So one thing I loved seeing too on your site, man, was just like, your reason for curating events. I know you want people to be to feel welcomed and connected and through the diaspora of the culture. Like when you're hosting your events now, man, like what do you want people to like feel when they leave those events that you're DJing at, that you're hosting?
Just to because it's really like the event, the stuff that I curate here where people enjoy. It's about, and that's why I'm very particular about the particular places that I work with. Like the customer service has to be on point. The drinks, the food, the ambiance, the music and environment, like, and really how I have my events and the music is a culmination of my travels, of my experiences, and so for me now, I've been mostly staying put and basing myself here for the last 3 years because of that. Like I want to be able to have that vibe that I've enjoyed all around the world. And for everybody who's coming, y'all can enjoy that here too.
I love that. I love because first of all, the juke joint, that was the best guacamole I'd ever had. The other girl said the same thing.
It's
we're sitting at the bar. I'm like, whoa, I don't know what they put in this, but we were feeding on that. And then the customer service was dope. So I'm definitely looking forward to going to some more while I'm here.
It's important, man, because we want to people coming out, spending money, enjoying, have a good time. And whether you live or you're an expat or if you're visiting, it's you want to have a good experience. I know, like for me, that's why for China Box, the customer service has to be on point. And that's what was missing. It's very robotic, the customer service here for the most part. And so I try to work with places and also create my own things where. Because everybody I work with, customer service will be on point.
Because that will ruin someone's trip, man. Because like if you come here and you think you got gypped or they were treating you different because you're American, that will really warp your whole perspective on your trip, your visit. Right? You may not want to come back, or they think they're trying to rip you off or something like that. I enjoy that, and I love taking all of your travels from the places you've been. I'm hearing it through your music too, like
thank you,
the
man.
Tracks that you're DJing. So
thank you, man. It's important, man. Like it's important to be able to showcase that, because like that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like I want to be able to have when people come into anything I'm doing, I want people to have a good time. And to be able to enjoy it and go home, tell a friend, and like, yo, you had a good, it was no crazy horror story in Mexico. No, you had a good time. There's some brothers and sisters and all types of people out there. It's international. So that's been the beautiful thing about being able to curate, all the events that I've done here.
Bro, that's dope. So, and I'm gonna definitely get some content at the next one. The next couple of events, and like, bro, because people want to see what it's actually like, you know what I mean, and being on Fifth Ave and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, before, like, and probably what one of the first events I started doing here was because I love film, right? So I would do one of my first ones when I would do Cine Noir. So this was like 2021. I'm gonna bring it back. I just been so busy, man. But
life happens,
man. But it's a film event where I have a film space in the jungle.
Really?
Not too far from here, where we had catered sofa. I did about six screenings. We did Love Jones, Love and Basketball. What else? Coming to America 2.
Yeah, that's dope. So in the jungle, you have
beautiful setting, part,
screen,
seating, everything. You know what I'm saying? We did Poetic Justice.
That's
so then, I try to focus on, classic, black films. Where
Love Jones is
people,
definitely
Love favorite. Jones, and we did Jungle Fever, and man, these are like all these movies. I saw Jungle Fever with my grandmother. You know what I mean? So like it kind of brought me back, and I did some commentary on it. It was a beautiful, beautiful way and a beautiful evening for like families and kids to be able to enjoy. amazing cinema, good food, good drinks, so that's just another one.
And it sounds like bringing back that small community feel to somewhere where it's blown up. You know what I mean? Because now it's kind of like everyone's doing their own thing.
Exactly.
Since there are so many expats, travelers here. You want to bring it back to feel more intimate, which is dope. What about kids, man? So like, I know you have a kid. So how do you feel about raising kids in Mexico, in Playa? Like, compared to the States or
man,
just in general?
Good question, man. So my son is Brendan Gael. He was born here. He's 9 years old, and man, I'm very glad that I had him here.
Okay.
Like, he's been, we travel a lot, we've been to New York, Miami. So the same reason why I'm here, he likes to travel and base himself out of here.
Right.
But he speaks Spanish, English, plays soccer, and I just noticed the joy, that we were able to enjoy here. He has joy. When he was a toddler and kid, we would be on Fifth Avenue. And everybody would be like, he had his Audi. So I bought an Audi for him. So I would be on the remote playing right on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
Like chilling every day. Like, and he would love it. And so he was able to have a nice interaction with people and already be kind of indoctrinated in like knowing people.
Because kids get a lot of attention here, and like we have a lot of parents ask us like, what's it like raising kids in Mexico? Mine are still very young, so I tell them what my experience has been like so far, which is like they're welcomed everywhere. It's a very family friendly culture.
Family friendly.
You walk into a restaurant with babies, everyone's carrying a baby in their hand, like walking down the street, so it's normalized. Versus,
it is.
I feel like in the States it's more like, hey, you're bringing your kid here, like this isn't a space for that.
You're right. You're right.
So we've loved it. Frankly, me and my wife raising our kids. So man.
The kids get a lot of love here, man. Like there's a lot of activities and people roll out the red carpet. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't. It's not like. But Mexico is like that. Period. Anyway, it's family. Mexico is very, very family in that regard. You go. On Sundays, I was just in Cozumel a couple of days ago, and just to see the amount of families like chilling together, the Grandma Abuelita, just they was on the ferry just relaxing, like it is beautiful. I love to see it because you don't see that in the States, man. Like families hanging out on a Sunday at the beach, like man, that's beautiful, man.
The mall culture, the shopping culture too. That's one thing we noticed. Like they will all go out shopping together, and spend the time together.
Spend time
in the States, it's like everyone's working heads down. Once they're off work, everyone does their own thing. What has it been like? Not even hosting an event, but for you going on a group trip. Like, what were some of your favorite memories?
Damn.
Because now it's like you got to get into detail, but now it's kind of like everyone is hosting group trips. I think it's becoming very popular. If somebody has a following, they want to host a trip.
Right.
But I know there's a lot that goes into it.
Oh, absolutely.
I know it's not a simple process. So.
No. Well, that's like because in 2024 I'm gonna start going back to hosting, but trips of my own, but kind of on a seasonal basis. So it's going to be based around the 4 seasons. So off the beaten path trips during the 4 seasons. So I have one for fall, winter, spring, summer. All off the beaten path places that I'm extremely familiar with, where I'm like extremely plugged in with, to give people kind of and I'm thinking about mostly focusing it on couples.
Really? That would be dope.
Just on couples, like
your wife would love that.
Just focusing on more on couples, so where we could be able to have intimate dinners. Because sometimes I've noticed with group travel dynamic, if it's more women or more men, it's like
it goes to one side or the other.
It can go one side or the other, right? Like so, but if you traveling with couples, y'all can still do your own thing. We can all still come together and do a lot of beautiful things as well. So in the 4 seasons of travel, it's going to be kind of based on how I like to travel anyway. So it's adventure, nightlife, restaurants, that kind of vibe. Where I've always kind of traveled on. But then so we probably some of the potential destinations that we're going to be looking at is Prague, Czech Republic. Like that's the first country I went to.
Man.
That's the first city I went to in Europe. I went to Prague 3 times before I went to India because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And like the people were so cool.
Is that where they have a big boat culture
in Prague? Nah, beer culture.
Okay, beer. Okay,
beer culture, a lot of art, good jazz.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sexy. Like the architecture is fly.
Man.
You know, so like that's kind of that's the mode I'm going into for like when I'm for 2024.
Some classy
shit. You know, like when I'm stepping out, I'm not going. I don't really need to turn. You know, I want. I like quality experiences.
Yeah.
I like to be around quality people. So that's the vibe. What we're going to be attracting.
We're definitely going to be looking out for that too.
Yeah, man. You know, y'all, you and wifey are welcome. Y'all got to come in. You guys would enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, man, it was good sitting down with you, Rasheed.
Man,
and,
amazing, man.
We learned a lot about each other, man.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I have to interview this bro because we kept bumping into each other. I'm just like, okay, we're definitely gonna catch up. And
yes.
When we got here, we weren't even thinking about starting this podcast. It was something we kept putting off. And I'm like, there's too many interesting people's stories that I think people would resonate to for the entrepreneurs, for the people who want to be, go out and have like a classy night, or classy time.
Exactly.
And connect you to tourists because they'll be like, shit, who do I need to call when I get to Riviera Maya? It's Rasheed. I'm going to, see what events he has going on. So
definitely check me out. You guys can follow me at International Swagger on Instagram. Cap Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Cancun alumni coming soon, and be on the lookout for Lafette Rosé.
Yes.
International Swagger. It's not a vacation, it's a lifestyle. I know the vibes. Appreciate it, Justin.
Hey, man.
Good stuff, brother.
Appreciate you having me.
No doubt, man.